Okay, the book I would like to show you is Stockholm 1937, the Lost Olympiad. Now, Olympiad in chess have nothing to do with the Olympic Games. It's practically a kind of a world team tournament in which all the countries come to play. They send their own team. It seems that there was one in Munich just maybe 6 years before, 1931, in which also Palestine played. Practically it's very exciting, but the most exciting part is the following, that for each Olympiad you had a chess set that was used. This is the one made for the Olympiad of Stockholm 1937. And so we will play using the same pieces that those players use 87 years ago. Honestly, I found the rook very interesting, very pleasant as a piece to touch and see. The king is also interesting with this kind of shape, and the pawns are really strange, but it's okay. Here you can see the knight. They are really beautiful pieces, and I think we must really live in amazing times if we can actually play with the pieces of 87 years ago. Now, you must understand that some Olympiads they lost the records because it was a mess. There was obviously World War, some countries were incorporated in new geopolitical structures like the Soviet Union. It was a mess. Many players, unfortunately, I guess, died. So this was also a big effort because W.H. Cozen did a great job in finding something like 200 games. 200 games, that's amazing. The book is divided in two parts. The first part goes round by round, no? And they also show some results. And then here for example you can see, I'm sorry that the quality is what it is, so let's see if it's possible to see it better here. But then it changes after the round by round. It starts to show country by country. In this case, for example, it shows Sweden and the games played by Swedish players. I will try to show my best of the games that I found interesting. I hope you will enjoy it because clearly it's an amazing thing. By the way, this book, this was 19 rounds, a tournament of 19 rounds, okay? So here you can see the final round, round 19. I find this book amazing, and the thing is, it's even more amazing because I ordered it used and I bought it for just a few dollars. But the thing is, I don't think it was ever read because it's really perfect, in perfect condition. Keep in mind that this book was made in 1985. So 1985. So it's 15 years to 2000 plus 24. 29, 39 years ago. So this book is nearly 40 years old. It has not been touched. Not been read, nothing. Okay, with that said, let's start to watch our game number 1 from round 1, and it was played between Montgomery, Scotland, against Book, which was one of the rising master. I don't know if I pronounce it right. However, Book is SF. SF is Suomi, Finland. Book is black, okay? And black will win. The game starts with E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight C3, Bishop B4. By the way, the author also has done, in my opinion, a great job at annotating the games for what he could. Keep in mind, again, the book is from 1985, so there were no engines in that time. And so that's why it's a great book, E5, 97. So you say, why it's a great book? Because the guy had to do the best with what he could, right? And he also makes some interesting comments like this one. This cagey line keeps white guessing whether black intends to follow up with an undermining c5 or to remove the white square bishop by b6 and bishop a6. b6 and bishop a6. These are kind of interesting because it teaches you also the basic of an opening like the French. So to read and watch the games of this book on this beautiful chess set that is from that time, it's something that can help you also better understand the openings. Of course, here it goes a little forward explaining the opening. I will not do that because I think there are enough books about the French defense, okay? I just want to enjoy the games on this chess set that is from that time. So after 97, white played knight e2, c5, a3, bishop takes c3, check. And it continue with knight takes c3, c takes d4, knight b5, very interesting, because now that you have lost the dark square bishop, this is a reality. Castle, knight takes d4, knight g6, f4. The book has some very interesting paper. It's not glossy, but it looks like glossy, so I don't know what it is. It's really interesting. Now let's read the comment of the author. The only way to hold the e-pawn, but now Montgomery is open to the queen check from h4, and probably for the fourth time experiencing what it means to face an international master on the keel. Okay, that's interesting. Also because I don't know if there were titles like international master in 1937. Do? f6, destroying the white center and opening the f-file against the king, which will never have time to castle. Poor king. Bishop b3, f takes e5. Notice the set is really pleasant, also the weight. Of course, now you cannot play f takes e5 because there is queen h4 check, and when you try to block, this knight is gone. Okay, so let's try to be careful about that. So bishop take g6, h take g6, and knight e2. Again, what would happen if takes on e5 he still play queen h4, and you can see it, okay, tac, 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 boom. Okay, so it's kind of dangerous to take on e5, right? It's something you maybe don't want to do if you're not stockfish. But maybe you can massacre also if you are one piece down. But apart of that, let's return to our game. So after h takes g6, white played knight e2, queen h4, g3, queen h3, because you prevent white from castling, queen d3. Of course, again, f takes e5, not really a good idea, because try to see it, we read queen g2, and you say, oh, what does it mean? Well, not much, but if you play this, then you start to have a big trouble, right? I don't know, it's not something you want to do, probably. Okay, let's continue to see. It seems, however, that in this Olympiad some of the big names like Tartakover and Reshevsky, but especially Tartakover, lost badly. So that's kind of interesting. So he played queen d3 because you cannot really take there, e4. And now in the French, when this pawn starts to go through, it's a problem. Queen c3, knight c6, bishop e3. Maybe you can try two castle here, but I guess black will not give him the time. e5, f takes e5 finally, bishop g4. And now is obviously threatening against one more, this queen g2, that is attacking this, but is threatening a checkmate here. So that bishop g4 is kind of a big deal. Queen d2, d4, and of course also in this case to take that pawn probably not really good idea. Probably after knight takes d4, rook a d8, c3 to support the knight, and then knight takes e5 with a possible double check here or entering here. Clearly a problem. I don't know. It seems bad, right? So you cannot take. What do? He played knight f4 in the game. Now, since we always like to try to learn from these games, put yourself in black position and tell me what you would play next. So you can pause the video and see what you would play next. In the game, black played rook takes f4. Boom! Great move. Bishop takes f4. g5. Obviously the idea is to open the files. Bishop takes g5. e3. And bishop takes e3. Okay, d takes e3, queen takes e3, and rook e8. So please notice the position, okay? This bishop prevents this king to castle, because the rule is that the king cannot pass through a square that is controlled by the enemy. This queen also controls this, so it cannot castle. It's stuck in the middle, and this now controls this square control. So it's starting to become a problem, right? We start to have a kind of problem. So what did white do? He played king d2, putting in connection the two rooks, but queen g2. King c3, and now finally the rook takes. White played queen g1, not so good obviously, but what can you do at this point? Queen f3, check again. Obviously if you go here, I hope you can see that there is a checkmate, because this control this, okay? This control this entire file, this rank. This other rank is controlled by this. So bishop e6 gives checkmate. So that's why you cannot go there. So where do you go? You go back. But unfortunately, also going back is not something you are going to escape with. Rook e2, king c1, and then the end of the game is queen e4. That is kind of interesting, because it's giving checkmate here. So how does he escape from that? I don't know. Let's see what he writes. By the end of the fourth session, the Hungarians already had their noses in front, the only team with a clean score of 4-4. The Americans had dropped a half point to Lithuania. August 4th brought the fourth taste of 10-hour chess with round 2 and 3. From now on, the incidence of a bye makes it difficult to get an accurate view of the developing scores. The position tables show which teams are a match short. Again, I think he did a great job. As you can see, round 2 was played on Sunday, August 4th. Those are the results. Here there are the results for round 1, and of course in the next video we will also watch a game from round 2, which will be Keres against Ov. Keres in that time was really a big deal. They thought he would become a world champion. And thank you for watching.